We're live on location, live. Welcome to the live stream edition of the Ave Podcast, where we're joined by my first guest, who is a contributor and founder of the Skills Refinement Group and a Toronto hooping legend as well for my generation. Please welcome back O'Neal Kamaka to the show. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. And my next guest was my first guest on my first podcast, who in his past life was a former Quebec Player of the Year in high school. He played in the Team Canada program, a Marist College basketball alumnus, and right now he's really trying to be more known as Jalen's dad. Please welcome Big Brother Curtis to the show. How you doing today, sir?
What up?
So
that's the truth of that matter as well.
Yeah.
Facts. So we're here to talk about, I guess, recapping the first three games of the NBA Finals so far. Just a quick live stream, but what are you guys' thoughts on the finals so far? I guess we'll start with you, O'Neal. Like, what are your thoughts on the finals so far from what you've been seeing from these first three games?
It's going pretty much the way I thought. I didn't have Dallas in the finals. I had Denver.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't even have Dallas beating the Clippers, but I was like, what was I thinking? I was like, James Harden's on that team. What was I? Anyways, but you know, when you look at their rankings defensively and offensively, they're number 2 on both. Like they're the top 2 defensive team in the NBA behind Minnesota, and they're the top 2 offensive team in the NBA behind Indiana. So you got defense, you got offense. It's a wrap. Coupled with, you know, the fact that Jalen and Tatum, you know, they've been there before and they've been to the finals before, and so they're hungry. You can see it in the way they play. You can see it in their approach to the game, and they're just very calm. They're very relaxed. They're not rattled by anything. They're not rushed. Just very methodical.
And what about you, Curtis?
I'll piggyback on what O'Neal just said. I didn't see Dallas being in the finals whatsoever. Not even getting to the semis whatsoever.
None of us did.
But I kind of jumped on the wagon once they started getting that ride going. I kind of drank the Kool-Aid a bit because they were actually playing good basketball.
They are.
They were really good basketball. They were moving the ball. It wasn't a one-on-one sideshow as it is now in the finals. They were moving the ball. Guys were making shots. I look at their role players. They were never good shooters if you look at their regular season stats, but they caught stride. They caught rhythm during the playoffs, and they were playing good at the right time. So I thought it was going to roll over to the finals. So I actually had them in 7, but yeah, they just shit in the bed. They just kind of retracted from everything positive they were doing, and it's just going, you know, Doncic's turn, Kyrie's turn, and I don't know. It's just not good basketball.
No,
I think that's what good defense does to you, because Boston switches on everything, and then they play straight up, and so
they don't help.
Mm-hmm.
And so it takes you out of your stuff. When you start, you know that when you start switching, it just takes you out of your stuff, and it forces you to be a one-on-one.
I totally agree with that. But with that being said, move the damn ball.
Yeah.
Let everybody knows Boston is an elite defensive team.
Yeah.
You know, backcourt and the wings, and with Porzingis there, even Horford at the center position.
Yeah.
We all know they're a good elite team. How do you beat a good defensive team? You got to move the ball. If you're a good defensive team, playing iso ball is you're
playing right into their hands,
giving the game away.
Yeah, you play right into that. That's what they want you to do.
Yeah,
you got to do it in the like. I think, you know, when the playoff comes around, you got to start adjust. So, but you know, run a 5 out. Do what Boston's doing. Run a 5 out offense. Get some, you know, cutting. Some split action, backdoor, dribble handoff, fake, you know, go backdoor. Just get them moving, you know, and then push the ball. Like if they're a great half court defensive team, push the ball so they don't set up. But Luka doesn't want to do that. You know, Luka's fat, out of shape.
Yeah.
and he wants to take his time down the court.
No, you're so right. You got to play faster. You got to put it in Kyrie's hand, probe and see what's there. Let Luka follow. Let him be a trailer, if anything. You know what I mean? We've got all your bigs are quick wings, are quick bigs. Let him run, man. You get the lobs on the run. You ain't gonna get the lobs in half court with a good defensive team. But
that's true. Not in this series, anyway.
No.
And it's funny because, like, as a basketball fan, like, I love the playoffs and I've enjoyed it overall. You know, I'm like both of you guys. I did not think Dallas would be here. Obviously, I thought Denver would be here. But, I mean, the last part I did, I had Dallas possibly winning in 6. Not so much because I thought they were the better team. I just wasn't sure about Boston. I'm like, could easily see Boston sweeping them. I could easily see Boston losing in 5. Because it just depends on what you get from them. Even though the consistency with them all year, they've been great. But I like overall, in terms of the finals, I find it's been boring from an entertainment standpoint, you know. But most sweeps are boring, right? So it's not good for when it's a sweep. It's not good for anybody other than the team that wins, right? But the one thing I said in my last pod was that, like, in terms of the finals, that you're going to know after the first 2 games, you know, it was going to be a great indicator who's going to win this series, right? And Boston's basically controlled everything from the tip ball from game 1 until last night, really and truly. Because even after Dallas jumped out to a big lead, you know, by the time you looked at the end of the first quarter, and they were up like 10, 15 points in the first, like the beginning of the first quarter. And I know that's just hype and being in front of your fans, first finals in 13 years or whatever it is since Dallas won in 2011. So you expect that. But then, you know, after everything was said and done, end of the first quarter, Boston was down 1. You know, and once you saw that, I'm like, yeah, this isn't good. It kind of reminds me of how, like, Minnesota was playing Dallas and they were working so hard to score. And then every time we looked at the score, Dallas was only down like 3 or 4 points. Every time Minnesota went on a run, Dallas would score a couple of baskets and it was like they're tied. So it just looked like Minnesota was working so hard and Dallas was so easy for Dallas to score. And I think it's the same thing that was happening here, right? Where it's like Dallas is just, they're working too hard to score baskets.
Yeah, I think they are. And I think for me, what they indicated for me was the first game. It was where, and even the second game, which where, but most of the first, where Boston was up big. Dallas went on a 20-9 run or whatever, because Boston was up by almost 30, 40, whatever.
Right.
They cut it to 8. And then Boston was like, okay, fun's over.
Yeah.
Let's push it back up to 12. Like, and just how easy they did it. And that's like, okay.
Yeah.
Right there, it just said it for me. Like, it wasn't nothing for them to just lock back in and push it back up to 20. So I think, and that's the thing that I look at. They just turned up the defense. Just calm back down. And so those are the little things that I look at, like just how they're able to just dominate. When they want, they can just, okay, let's just dominate these guys. And I think even last night, it was funny, you saw it up by 21, and J.J. Redick or Doris Burke was like, Boston's doing such a great job of moving the ball, and it looks so beautiful and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, cool. They think the game's over. Peyton Pritchard comes out and starts going one-on-one, doing some, YMCA fadeaway jump shot with a 6'10" guy in his face. He's like, and the next thing you know, the lead is just going down, 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 and it's 3 points. They went on a 20-2 run. I remember the score was 91-70, and they look around, it was like 93-80, 88 or so, 90 or something like that. And you're like, what the hell? They only scored 2 points. And then, but they never panicked. They were just like, yeah, we're just toying with you guys. It's okay.
And at the same time, it looks like, because even in game 2 and game 3, Dallas had a chance to like tie the game, but it's just, they just couldn't get over the hump for whatever reason, whether it's defensively. I mean, last night was, I think Luka falling out was, I mean, we'll get to him in a second, but I thought that was asinine, for him to put himself in that position. And you know what I mean? Like, but even with that said, you kept seeing it. They were so close to like, because the game was like for about a good 3-4 minute period, it was a 3-point game. And it's like they just couldn't get over the hump. They got it to 2 at one point, and they couldn't get over the hump. And then after that, it's like Boston. The thing with Boston this year, it's like as good as they are, and this is I think my problem with them throughout the year was like as good as they are, they give you opportunities to come back, or they give you opportunities to win. You know what I mean? But it's like Dallas is not, for whatever reason now, they got to the finals and they're not good enough now to like get over that hump, to like make it a tie game. You know what I mean? To put Boston in that position where there's real pressure. You know what I mean? And I think that was their best chance last night. And then, you know, Kyrie and like, you know, being able to go one-on-one and stuff is like, it's great, but like Boston has a D for everybody else. So, you know, if Kyrie's not hitting that shot, I think he tried to hit a 3 over Horford. Once he didn't make that, like it was a wrap. You know, and I think going forward, like for next season, like Dallas has to get another. They got to get a third scorer or somebody that can, or at least a ball handler, somebody that can create. Just one more person, and I think they, even with the same team, if they get one more guy to do that, I think they'll be all right. But they're kind of missing it in this series.
I think for me, this series, I think Calvin, me and you were talking prior to the series, and I was telling you, I'm more looking at Dallas because I didn't, and I said just what you just said. Boston needed to show me that they matured.
Yeah,
and until they did so, I didn't really want to believe them because let's face it, the East, the walk through the East was, they didn't really have
it was a cakewalk.
It was
a cakewalk.
So I thought the Western Conference, the finals was going to be a better showing. They're going to, you know, have a battle. And, you know, like I said, I picked Dallas. But the big difference is with Boston from the past, Boston-led teams with Tatum and Brown, is that the ball is moving. The ball is moving. I think, like, when I think of those prior Boston teams being led by those two young guys, it seemed like if Tatum was going off, then Brown had to also feel like he had to go off. And if Brown was going off, then Tatum had to get his 20, 30, and it was kind of like force feeding each other, taking turns, going one-on-one. It was, you know, with all the talent around them. And then you had, what's his name, who left, Smart. He would inject himself and, you know, and throw in some, you know what I mean? So you had all three of them looking to be hero at the wrong moments, right? Now you watch them play, and it seems like, you know, Brown and Tatum have settled down, and they don't care who. It seems like they don't care who's going to lead the team in points. You know, they're going to do the other things. Like, people keep saying Tatum is playing like shit, but you know what?
But he's not.
He's not. Like, I'm scratching my head. You know, his team is winning. This is what it's about.
Not shooting well, but
but that's not.
He's doing other things. He's doing other things.
He's playing D. He's rebounding. He's getting assists. You know, like, you know, he's a decoy. Like, he's giving up a good shot for a great shot to like Hauser in the corner. Like, it's totally, the mentalities is totally changed. I'm going to say maybe that's the coaching. You know, maybe more credit needs to be put on that dude. You know, nobody's really talking about that. You know what I mean? But it's a whole different Boston mentality, not even team, but just mentality. And it's nice to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they earned it. For you guys, is this one of the best teams we've seen in recent memory? Yes. Or are you still okay? Why do you say that?
For Boston?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're complete. They're complete. They're dominating. And you can see it in their body language. You see it in their demeanor, the way they play the game, offensively and defensively. They figured it out, like Curtis just said. They're not going one-on-one that much anymore. They're moving the ball. They're playing basketball. They penetrate, swing, right? They collapse the defense. They kick out. They play 5 out. They go dribble handoff, pick and rolls, cut, you know, split action, whatever you want to call it. They're making the extra pass. So, and that was what was killing them before. And, you know, I always like to say this: people, you mature in life because what happens, you start listening and things, the life lessons start setting in, right? When your parents tell you stuff, you don't want to listen to them, but then you start, like, this is what they're talking about. You start maturing. Same thing in basketball. Basketball maturity is when, as coaches who've been there, telling young players or players, this is what you need to do. You got to keep the game simple, make the extra pass, less is more. And then young guys want to, you know, based on their interpretation of the game and processing it, they want to make it difficult and they want to make it hard and they want to be stubborn, right? Just like in real life, your kids want to be stubborn when you try to teach them stuff. And then eventually they just realize, you know what? Dad is right. Mom is right. It's the same thing. They realize, you know what? The coach is right. Let's try it this way. We've been doing it our way for the past 6 years, 7 years. We haven't won a championship. Let's try to do it the coach's way. And so they start making the extra pass. And oh, wait a minute. The game's easy. We're getting wide open threes. What are they attempting? Like 40, 45, 50 threes a game?
Yeah.
Like I remember in the first half alone, they already had 33. So the first game, they shot 27 threes. And so you're getting open looks. You're getting easy buckets. And like you don't have to work as hard. And then you have two guys who could put the ball in the bucket in big moments. So, and then defensively, you got Drew Holiday, bro. That's one of the best defensive players in the NBA history. I've loved that guy ever since I saw him play defense in the NBA. And I don't know how other general managers and coaches, maybe it's probably the general manager, they don't value somebody like Drew Holiday. And you have Derek White. You have two plug-in guys or two-way guys. Not only can they play defense, but they can shoot.
Second team on defense, both of them.
I give it honestly, Kamaka, I give it to White. You know who Drew Holiday is, White.
Yep.
You know, that dude from a division.
That was the missing piece.
Where he's at.
That was the missing piece.
It's amazing, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just like you said, Curtis, another ball. Who was it? Calvin. Was it you that said another ball handler?
Yeah.
That's why they have White. They have Drew Holiday. You have two other ball handlers.
You got four guys.
Four guys that got in the rock, and so it just makes it easy. And then you have other guys that can initiate the offense, and your scorers can just go in the wing and start cutting and playing without the ball. So I love Boston. I love the way they play. I thought Denver would, if they matched up, because Denver, if they played Denver, because I had them and Denver meeting in the finals. I had Denver winning, but
yeah, me too.
Denver exhaled. They exhaled too early. They're up 3-2, and they exhaled too early with Minnesota, and
Minnesota's just the wrong matchup for them. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. What about you, Kurt? This is the best team that you've seen in recent memory? Could we ask that question, or do we have
how recent are we going?
You know what? I would say for recent memory, I would say although they didn't need Porzingis last night, if Porzingis is playing at full strength, I would say in recent memory.
So who do you have over them?
Who would I have over them right now?
Yeah, who?
That's what I'm saying. In recent memory, I would say, they are.
Okay.
Yeah, because especially if you throw Porzingis in there, you know, like although they didn't even need him last night,
they didn't need him really in the playoffs. They haven't done most of this without him. 10-1,
and you can see when he's playing, it's another hit.
Yeah,
it's another problem.
Yep.
Right.
And you're getting interior defense shot blocking. So not only perimeter defense, but now if you work hard and beat them and you gotta get to the basket, now you got somebody to change your shot.
I mean, when he's healthy, you understand the unicorn nickname he had. Like he told you, like he looked. I mean, he looked amazing the first two games, right?
For sure.
And then you have him coming off the bench for Hartford or vice versa, like, you know. Yeah, I mean, they're a complete team, man. They're tough. I didn't see it because I coming through the East, I'm like, the East, there's no barriers in front of them.
Yeah, it's hard to gauge. Yeah. It's hard to gauge for sure.
But give them credit. They beat who they got to beat.
That's it.
You know what I mean? You beat who's in front of you. Nobody can knock that.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
No. And I'll say, sorry, go ahead.
No, people are going to say, probably in the future, people are going to say, they had a cakewalk through the East, and then they beat a bad West team, like Dallas should have never been there. But again, for me, I don't care who you beat who you got to beat.
You still got to win, bro.
You kick ass, you got to win. You know, like the Raptors. The Raptors got to win. We got to chip because shit happened. But
still got to win
in the T-Dot.
Yeah,
can't take that away.
It's a classic example of like, you know, who's in front of you kind of thing, right? Classic example of that. But and I'll say this, like, this is the right time for Boston to win it. Just it matches up. They were 64-18. and what are they? 15-2 in the playoffs. They're 79-20 when you count regular season and playoffs. I mean, that's like one of the dominant records in NBA history, right? So historically, it matches up in terms of their record. You know, they're the second best defensive team all year. They've, you know, historically in terms of like Brown and Tatum, they've been through the playoff wars. You know what I mean? So it all matches up. But you know, obviously, as we were saying before, because of their past, you know, we just wasn't sure. Or at least I could speak for myself. I wasn't sure. But you got to tip your cap to them, man. They've played like champions. You know, even though they still give you some lulls where like you feel like you can come back in the game, but they played like champions, man. So like I can't knock them. In recent memory, I would, just based on record, you'd have to say but in terms of how long, if you say since 2010, since LeBron went to the Heat, because that's a whole era in itself, right? The super team era since that started.
So 15 years.
So 14 years. So
15 years.
I mean,
we're counting 2010, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I would put the Warriors first in terms of, especially when KD was there. You know, the two Heat teams, Denver, and I would say this team, they're probably in their own. I think those four in its own class. Would you rank Denver above Denver's championship last year over this team, or would you go Boston?
I don't know. I'm going Boston, the way they're playing right now.
I'm going Boston. Here's why I'm going Boston number one. Because they got four guys. Four legit two-way guys.
Yeah.
Four. Golden State didn't have four two-way guys. They might have. KD was playing well defensively. Draymond Green was a defensive guy. Clay's off. Yeah, Clay was a two-way guy. So you have two-way guys. They have four.
And you can go 5 if Porzingis is healthy.
5, exactly, with the shot blocking. So they have 5. So you have 5 guys that were giving you offense and defense. Nah, I'm putting them number one. Like, they got number one for me. Because I'll put them up defensive. Like, they're a nightmare, bro. They're long. They can guard. Drew Holiday take the point guard. Derek White could take a wing.
They're deep.
Tatum could take a wing. You know, Brown takes a wing. And you got Porzingis. Come on, man. You have 5 guys on the court. 5 guys that are two-way guys. Legit. Nah. They're number one.
Shit. You could even throw in Horford as a two-way. Because,
you know,
as old as he is, he's still playing good D, and he's still hitting that shot.
He knows 3 and D guy. Yeah, man. Yeah. So, you know, and then, you know, you got those 6. You got Hauser coming in. You got knocking down shots, right? So, yeah, man, I got Boston. That 5 is tough. The fact that they're just legitimately where they're dominating on both ends.
Yeah, they can smother you defensively.
Yeah, and then just kill you, and then they can kill you offensively. Pick your poison.
And props to Holiday, man, because offensively, this is the most consistent I've seen him play.
Exactly.
Ever.
Very consistent. Yeah,
he's very consistent the whole season, playoffs. Yeah. You usually at some point you expect him to kind of drop off, but no, man, there's been no drop off. He's been honestly, and I mean, I'll say this for my next question coming up, but like he's definitely the MVP candidate for the finals for sure. Like he's been really solid.
But with Holiday though, I mean, we all played ball. The better teammates you have around you, the better you play.
And you have again 4 guys, 3 guys, 5 guys that could play defense as well. So you don't have to, you know what I mean? Like
carry that defense.
You don't have to, you know, work so hard on the defensive end. He's still playing hard, but now you have other guys. Okay, I can switch. I'm switching off onto, you know, this guy over here is a scrub. Great. I don't have to work as hard. So where he had to take on the responsibility of guarding the best guy the whole time. Now with this team, Luka, you know, White could guard Luka. Brown could guard Luka. You know, Tatum will guard Luka, right? Like you can switch off.
Yeah. At least 4 guys can switch off.
Switch off, and you don't have to worry about guarding the best guy every single time. It does make it easier for you to score. You know, saves your legs a little bit.
And they're a big team too, like because in their backcourt, like how tall is White? White's about 6'5", 6'4", 6'5"?
No, White's 6'7".
Oh my God! Yeah, there you go. Because Holiday is 6'4".
6'4".
White's not that tall.
Yeah, man. They have him at 6'7", bro. Let's look it up. I'm telling you. Derek White is like,
Well, while you guys are looking this up, how much blame does Luka get for this series in terms of his issue with the refs and defensive effort? And could this be something that can be fixed?
It's so funny because I don't blame him for the series. I definitely blame him for they have him at 193, so I think he is.
Yes, he's 6'4", basically.
6'5", bro.
Yeah,
I'm 193.
It's still a big guy. Like,
don't see my height.
You're 6'4".
Um,
You're probably 6'2" now because you're older.
6'5". I'm 6'5".
You're slumping now.
6'5". So I don't blame him for the series because up until he's been bitching and complaining from
his whole life.
But that's what he does. Yeah, like somebody said LeBron is his idol, so it makes sense. He's just bitching and complaining. So, but Windhorst brought up a great point, which I didn't really pay attention to and notice. But he's been watching Luka, and whenever there's big moments, whether he's playing for playing for his national team and stuff like that, he tends to get in foul trouble and get fouled out and loses his cool and loses his temper. And so, because again, at least yesterday they were taking he leads the NBA in blow by, so they're just killing him. He knows it. It's right there in front of everybody in the world. And so what do? It's like that bad kid you have at school, right? Or that kid at school who might be struggling, has difficulty learning. And so what does he do? He act out, right? He starts acting out and doing stuff to sabotage so you don't call on him. Luka's trying to hide. He's trying to sabotage, act out, right? Flare his arms and just do dumb stuff and loses it. So I would give. I'm in the camp of blaming him for yesterday, not the whole series because he's been playing. Not the whole series. Kyrie hasn't been doing anything. So game 1 and 2, Luka's been playing well. He's been carrying the Mavericks, but yesterday they needed him to be there, stay locked in because it was a close game. They're down by 3, and he was bitching and complaining, and he got fouled out.
Not running back on transition like that. That killed him as much as anything too. It's the top of the fouls. Like, and if you looked at the fouls that he got, at least you would say 4 of those fouls was like it was completely on him. It was foolishness. Yep. At least 4 of those fouls, like it was wild. What do you think, Kurt?
I mean, I'm not going to blame Luka. But because he's always been a bad defender, so it's not rocket science that you attack him. In regards to, I almost blame Jason Kidd, to be honest with you, because I just don't like how they're executing their offense and so forth. How they're their support players they're not playing well, but they're not getting in the rhythm to play well, right?
Right.
And I think that's a big piece to it. Like I said earlier, those guys were in the regular season. Their percentages weren't good, but they caught rhythm because they trusted them. Like from day 1 of this series, as from the jump ball, there was no trust in the support players, and they missed a couple of. After they missed a couple of open shots, the trust even went even further. The mistrust even went further. They just totally abandoned them. Now, Jones is not an elite shooter by any chance. He's not even a good shooter. But when you're playing a team sports, you have to give him a vote of confidence. Hardaway coming off the bench. Hardaway can score. He's proven that in this league that he can score. But again, you have him buried on the bench. He comes in cold. Not every player can come off cold, not touch the ball, and catch fire.
Days or weeks, yeah.
Like especially North American players, it's more of a rhythm game. That's how they learn the game. More of a rhythm, more of off the bounce, as opposed to just catch and shoot, right? And there's an issue with the support players not getting the rhythm. I have problems with ball dominant players. I don't mind ISO players, but ball dominant players take away from the team aspect of a game. And Dallas is just too ball dominant, with those 2 guys. So I put more weight on Jason Kidd as opposed to Doncic.
Yeah, for him, I think there's still another level or 2 that he can get to, and it's mostly defensive and mentality, because like I was telling a friend of mine today, I was calling him the white Rasheed Wallace, right? Because he lets the ref affect his game sometimes when things aren't going well. To O'Neal's point, right? And like you can't be a superstar, especially a superstar wing, and get yourself fouled out of the finals. Like that's just it's a terrible look.
Yeah.
Like that I think is going to overshadow him more than them getting swept or him playing well the first couple of games. So I'm just taking up my ringer here. But yeah, like I think those are like the biggest things. And then on top of that too, like is physical fitness causing him mental fatigue? Or was it a mindset issue?
Yeah, when you're out of shape, your body's suck. You gotta suck wind, and when you're out of shape, your body's trying to get oxygen. Your brain's trying to get oxygen. And when you're trying to get oxygen, you're not focused, right?
Yeah.
And so you'll make mistakes, and just like getting back and making good decisions, the effort. So yeah, that's why you gotta be in shape, man. That's why you gotta be in shape so you can think clearly, so you can perform at a high level. Right, and you can recover within, the whistle blows, and within 30 seconds you recover, and like you didn't do anything, like you're fresh. And that's what my coach reminded me that. He goes, when I was in college, he goes, that's what being in shape is. It's like the ability to go at 90 to 100% hard, stop, and you can recover in 30 seconds like you never did anything, like you're just fresh. And so Luka is out of shape. He's a fat bastard that's out of shape and needs to lose some weight.
And honestly, when you're out of shape, again, we all play ball. When you're out of shape, I was always taught when you're tired, you rest on offense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not on defense.
Not on defense.
Yeah.
So do other things, pass the ball, set screens. And this is why, a lot of people, this is why like I just love people who really, truly don't understand this game. It's like, it's a real simple concept. If you're dribbling the ball that much on offense, you're burning fucking energy.
Yeah.
And if you're burning that much energy on offense, you're not going to have any energy to play defense.
Yeah.
This is why Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and even Kawhi are my favorite fucking players.
That's why.
Because they score with 0 to 3 dribbles. Even when Jordan was a ball stopper, it's because if you really think about it, he was resting. He caught the ball in the post. He's leaning back, and what is he doing? He's processing how he's going to kill you, but he's also resting. And then he hits you with the MJ fade or whatever he wants to do. Even if he catches at the wing, he makes a quick move, one dribble pull up, one dribble to the rim. Right? You don't fucking sit there. And this is why when I train my guys, I will forever 0 to 3 dribbles. I will not ever train you to do. And the only time I do multiple dribbles is to improve your ball handling. And then what I do with guys is I do end of game situations. I go, the only time you can take more than 3 dribble is if the shot clock is running down. So you can stand there, you rein the shot clock run, you're thinking about it, and then you go into a one-on-one move, just like I used to at the end of a game, end of a shot clock. But other than that, that ball hits your hands, quick decision, shot, rip an attack, or get it out of your hands. But these guys, especially Luka, wants to shit them, pound the shit out of the rock. And that's why. And look at all the guys who do that. James Harden's a shit defender. Trae Young's a shit defender. Luka's a shit defender. All these guys that stand there and just pound the shit out of the basketball to get the rhythm to score are shit defenders.
But that's what I said earlier. There's a difference, and people have to understand this shit. There's a difference between ISO basketball and ball-dominant basketball.
Exactly.
And people like to oh, Michael Jordan was a ball-dominant guy. No, exactly what Kamaka just said. He got the ball when it was time to score. He got the ball. The ball moved. So even if you support players like with Dallas, what I just don't understand the concept. Even if your support players don't shoot, they don't have to shoot the shot. They don't have to shoot the shot, but they have to touch the ball.
Touch the ball. Yeah.
They got get that energy from the ball.
Yeah.
If you don't touch the ball, you got no energy.
But at basic basketball level too, Curtis, you're moving the defense.
You're moving the defense, of course.
Everybody's
you got to make a great defense move.
Yeah, you got to make the move, create goals, gaps in the defense, move the ball. It's crazy, bro. It's basic basketball. And you know what's it's so funny? When coaches like Nick Nurse or Chris Finch actually do stuff like that, that's basic basketball that's been done in college. Because we see this when we play D1. This is D1 basketball. Balls
And they make
moving,
fun of them.
and then they're like, "Oh my God, this is so new. This is revolutionary."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What the fuck? This was shit was happening when I was in college back in 97, 98, 99. What the fuck you mean it's revolution?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be play basketball. You move the ball. It's basic basketball. These guys are not playing basic basketball. And you think that they're pros, and the assumption is you're pros. Okay, you're gonna do basic stuff, and no, these guys don't do basic basketball. They fucking just dribble the shit out of the rock. Instead of just moving the ball, move the player, move the defense, and they don't do that.
So what's tripping me up here is that the Dallas head coach is Jay Kidd.
Yeah,
I love Jay Kidd as a player. Why?
Me too. He's my favorite.
Why? Why? Because why? What did he do?
That ball's gone. He was
Gone.
sending guys up.
Gone.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what's great with Jason Kidd? You know what's great with Jason Kidd too is like even when he got the ball as a point guard, when he got the ball, outlet. It was
Everybody ran.
Everybody ran. Like he was setting it up the court.
Yeah.
But Chris, you know too, like as much as I'm sure Jay Kidd is talking to Luka about doing that. But Luka, that's Luka's, because again, think about what we're saying though. Luka is out of shape. So Luka has to slug, his fat ass has to walk the ball up and take his time to dribble. Because for him to do that, that's going to require movement, Curtis. That's going to require him to pass and cut, maybe go set a screen, open up.
But I understand what you're saying. But when he gets the ball, you don't have to dribble. Just boom, get that shit up the court. Now, they don't have to shoot the ball when he gets up the court.
But just get out of his hands.
At least he can saunter up.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to dribble up. Or like you said, every time you pound the ball, it's energy. It's energy you're taking. You know what I mean?
And the thing was, in like the series of like prior, he was doing that. He was moving the ball.
Yeah.
Actually, against Minnesota, he was letting it go. He was throwing like half-court alley-oops and all that stuff. But like this series is like the defense has dictated how he's played, and based on the shape that he's in, it's really been a reflection of that. It's something Jimmy Johnson, the coach from the Hurricanes and the Cowboys, used to say, fatigue makes cowards of us all, right? And you're seeing that in this series. It's like he's like the complaining and stuff. I think in this series, it's kind of like reminding you of like, I think as I said, there's levels to this. Like you got to get in shape. And to your point about Kidd, like saying how he's supposed to talk to Luka about this, right? With salaries going through the roof, where these guys are making, like Luka's probably in his next contract going to make like at least 70, 75 mil a year. Like, does it make somebody like Luka that much harder to reach in order to fix his mistakes?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
You guys keep going. I'm going to go get my...
Sorry? Oh. Yes, I didn't hear him there. But yeah, but like to me, like, I think that's going to eventually play a part in that. Like, how is he going to take that on now? Like, in terms of this loss, the public pressure, is that going to make him fix some of these mistakes, come in better shape? You know what I mean? Like fix some of those defensive responsibilities. Like I'm just saying, because of the salaries, it's already up and it's about to go up more. Like, are these guys now becoming harder to reach? You know what I mean?
You know what? I mean, I think Luka's a winner. He's got a winning mentality.
Yeah.
So I think this loss is going to hit him hard, regardless of how much money he's going to be getting in the next contract. You want to win. And he's gonna look back and reflect and say, like, shit, I gotta do things differently.
Right.
You know what I mean? Regardless of the money he's making, if you want to win, he's got to do things differently. He's got to come back in better shape. He's got to be able to trust his teammates. Yeah, they're gonna probably make some movements and get better pieces, but regardless, he's still got to trust his teammates and just look back and reflect on why he lost. A big piece of this, and even he said it in couple of post game interviews. He's like, his free throws were shit, his defense was shit. You know what I mean? His assist rating is down. There's a lot for him to reflect on, right? So like I don't know, even if he's making $100 million, he's a winner. I think he's a winner. He's got that winning mentality. He's got to know, in order to win and to feed his ego, he's got to do these things, and I think he will.
I totally agree with you 100%. I think it reminds me of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Like Jason Tatum has no problem now sacrificing points. He understands that there's more to winning basketball than scoring, coming out and feeling that he has to go out there and drop the 30 points where in the past he was forcing and taking bad shots. Now you can have a good game and score 18, 20 points, but you have 10 rebounds, 9 assists. And so I think with Luka, for him, it's going to be, okay, I need to drop weight. Like, I need to, because it's his first finals, right? So, a lot of guys, they play differently. It's the finals. It's the last 4 games. And so mentally, he's probably, in a different place, different space mentally as opposed, compared to the other rounds. Because when you've never been to that, that pinnacle, you play different. Like, he's been to the conference finals. He was there against Golden State a couple of years ago, right? So he knows what it's like to be there, but he doesn't know what it's like to be into the finals. And now, having gone to the finals, I think Curtis is right. He's going to reflect. He's going to watch tape. He's like, okay, I got to drop some pounds, and he's going to be better. He's going to make the adjustment, and he's going to do it. He's going to mature. He's going to have basketball maturity and do what is necessary to win.
Who's your Finals MVP? Just got these 2 more questions, and that's it. But who's your Finals MVP at this stage? Is it Jaylen Brown? Yeah,
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
I think it's almost unanimous at this point.
And I love it too. All these guys that the man didn't even make 13, bro. Not even 13.
That's motivation.
I wish that guy. I hope he's from the Caribbean. Tell him to go. I was gonna say, tell him to go suck. Bro, not even 13, bro.
On his part, you know what I mean?
The level of
hold on, and he's not even on the Olympic team.
The level of disrespect.
Oh wow, that's right.
He's not even on the Olympic team, right?
The level of disrespect. Yeah.
They put that kid from Indiana on that shit.
The level of disrespect.
Wow.
Man, I wish you had some Caribbean background. Tell them, go suck yourself.
Yes.
Yo, you guys serious? All these reporters? Are you guys? And again, this is why when it comes to stuff like that, man, I'm like, I don't bring those stuff in like MVP into arguments, because I'm like, these reporters, and you can see it from the beginning of the season. They're like, oh, this guy's this guy. I'm like, how about you wait? How about you wait to see? How about you wait maybe 20 games, 30 games into the season before you start the
narrative was already set
of who's the MVP, who's first team, who's this. Like, look, if you listen to these guys, yeah, I think it's gonna be my first team next year. What the fuck you mean? Yeah, the season hasn't even started. How do you mean he's going to be your first team next year?
You don't even know if he's improved.
Listen, I was even hearing when Dallas was making their run that Luka is going to have a better 6-year start to his career than Michael Jordan.
Idiots.
And I'm like what the F are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
And I'm arguing with guys about this shit.
Yeah.
Because they're looking at stats and numbers, and I'm like,
yeah.
And they're like, when he wins, if and when he wins, that you cannot argue with me, Kurt, that he has a better 6-year start to his career than Jordan. No one can argue with me. And I'm like, oh Lord.
But you know the thing that you realize with like media and stuff, it's like at the end of the day, man, it's a TV show or it's a podcast. You got to create content, and you may not agree with the content, but you got to make content. And then, but the scary thing is when the content becomes like biblical. It becomes like Bible quotes for fans, and they start regurgitating the stuff that you think is nonsense. And then all of a sudden now they're like, oh, like I always said the MJ and LeBron argument. I could tell you when it started, when LeBron won his second title, I still remember ESPN being like, oh, he's coming close to Jordan. It's like, yo, what the? How? He just won 2. What are you talking about? Yeah. And then within like 6-7 months, you walk into to hoop at a gym. Guys are like, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. LeBron's kind of close, man. I don't know. And you're just like, wow, like it's kind of like radio. Like when you listen to a song on radio, you may hate it, but like 2 months later, you're singing a Taylor Swift song, and you're like, why am I singing this Taylor Swift song? But you've been hearing it on the radio for so long that now you're like, oh man, like this song isn't that bad. So it's like it just gets to you. Yeah, it's crazy.
Power of persuasion.
It's crazy.
Yeah, language in itself. Language is persuasive. Every time you speak, you're trying to persuade someone. Right? So if you keep saying something over and over, and you hear it over and over, right, then you start believing it, and you start sinking in, and you start saying, yeah, maybe that is true. But yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah.
But with Jaylen Brown, and he deserves it, man, because like he signed that was a $300+ million contract last
Yep.
summer, and everybody was ripping him because they're like, "Yo, you can't even go left. You can't even go left, bro. Like, how is this guy getting $300 million? I know he's an all-star, but come on now. Now you see him this year, he's going left, crossing over, going left, all the way left. Not like
Clyde Drexler couldn't go left.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
You know, like
Utica Julius.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Julius Barrett.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, to me, it's like you're watching him. You know, like even after he's getting the biggest contract in NBA history, which it doesn't mean anything at this point because contracts are gonna be like, but it's in 5 years, this contract is gonna be like, oh, that's pretty reasonable. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even going to be like what the top 15 contracts. You know what I mean? Like, by in the next 5 years. So it's not even mean anything. But like, people are harping on it now. But you know, but you looking at the stats, he's averaging 24, 6, 5, and the base 24, 6, and 6, and shooting 55 from the field. Like I said, there's a couple of players that could get it, and the maturity thing with Tatum, what I like too, with the way these guys are playing. Like, I think Tatum probably knows. If he didn't get the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He's probably not going to get this one, and he seems okay with it. You know, because
it's about winning, bro.
Yeah,
it's
about winning. He's going to get his first chip. He's going to be on the Olympic team. He's been first team All NBA multiple times. He himself is going to get a $300+ million contract.
Exactly.
But he's good.
But it doesn't take away from his game.
No,
his accolades. Like it this even better his iconic run right now because he wins a chip, and if you want to be measured against the greatest, you have to win.
Yeah, and nobody. I remember when Steph too, when Golden State was winning. Steph, it wasn't like Steph was putting up gaudy numbers. It was averaging like maybe 22 points a game. So it's not like Steph was putting up gaudy numbers. So, you know, you get that chip, man. I always preach get the chip, and then after that you get out of the way, and then you can start looking to repeat, three-peat. The money's going to definitely come. I tell players I coach, train, everybody loves winners. When you win,
everybody loves winners. Nobody wants to be attached to
it. And when you win, everybody eats. You'll get paid. You'll get this. But guys don't understand that. Play to win, and everything you want will come to you because nobody wants to be associated with losers. Everybody loves winners. So play to win.
And it all falls into place.
Yeah.
So to wrap up, do you guys think this goes past Friday? Goes past tomorrow night?
I do.
Game 4 is tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think just for pride, you got to go. Mavericks just have to go balls out and just get one.
I'm saying no. I'm saying I'm done. I'm fed up of watching. They're doing the same shit every day, man. I don't think they're going past this next game.
No.
They haven't shown me that they're actually but they haven't shown me that they're willing to even try.
Yeah.
To do anything differently.
No, they're not gonna. No,
it's frustrating to watch.
This is not a LeBron. This is not a LeBron-led team. They're not gonna get swept, bro. If it was a LeBron swept-led team, I'd be like, yeah, because LeBron would just be sulking and just not care.
You know why?
He's been swept 3 times already in the finals. But these guys, they're gonna have pride. Yeah, something like that. They're gonna be like
lost count. But anyhow, I'm not gonna get in there.
I say it goes past Friday.
But you know why? I think too. I think that watching the Celtics play, they have a different mentality, like I said from prior, and I think Mazzulla his mentality is just to finish this shit now.
He's done a great job this year. I got to give him props.
Just finish it. Yeah, and like I said earlier, he needs to get. Nobody's really talking about the job he's done, but he needs to get some praise, man. But I think he's leading them. Like, yeah, they got the player. It's they got the players who's leading on the court, but he needs to get his props, man. He's doing a hell of a job. That coaching staff is doing a hell of a job, and I don't think. I think they want to done it. I think they want to done it now. I personally think it's done. Man, again, Luka and them have showed me nothing. It's been very discouraging that they've shown me nothing.
Yeah. The scary thing is, like to O'Neal's point, like if Dallas can get over that hump, like when those games get close, if they can just get it to like a tie game, like get it to a tie game in the fourth with like 3 minutes to go. You know what I mean? Just to see what Boston does in this pressure. Again, they haven't really been tested like this whole playoffs. You know what I mean? Can we get like a 3-point lead on them with like 2 minutes to go and just see what happens? I'm not saying, Boston still can't pull it out, but like you just want to see them get tested. You know what I mean? So that to me, that's like I don't know. Like I'm not sure. Like I'm wondering if I want to be able to do another finals live stream, like on Monday or Tuesday. Is that going to happen? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know at this point, but I like at this stage, I'm like, yeah, I don't see it going past Friday the way it's happening now. But could it change? Possibly. I mean, I think the league will like it.
I think go past Friday, and because Boston wants to win it back in Boston.
That's the thing. I don't think they want it. I think they just want to win it.
Yeah,
I don't think they care about winning it back in Boston. I think they just want to done it.
I think Dallas is not just they have pride over there, man. They're not just gonna lay down. They're like
you see that embrace that Tatum and Brown did.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
So one more.
Yeah.
That says one more. That says that's done this shit.
Yeah.
That's one more. And I tell you what, though, if the Mavericks do get past Friday, it's going to be a coronation on Monday. That's 100% for sure. It's going to be a coronation. That like if they make it to Monday, that's going to be at least a 20-point game.
Okay.
I think so. At the very least.
I think it'll be.
But to wrap up, though, to wrap up, I didn't want to bring up JJ Redick. What what's going on in terms of him getting an interview with the Lakers. Because I don't feel like that's something Jerry West would do. So to lead with the legend passing away yesterday, the longtime NBA idol, basically the logo, as they call him. Like, what are your passing thoughts on him before we wrap up?
Curtis, you're a lot older than both of us by about 40 years.
Yeah.
You're on his age.
Only 30. Asshole.
He was around your time. You guys played around the same time.
He coached me in high school. Yeah.
He gave you his chucks.
Why don't you go first?
No, I mean the guy's the logo, man. He's an icon. He's a winner. Been to so many finals. He was winner on the court as a player. Winner in college, in the NBA. He did a little stint as a coach. He was an icon as a GM, as a builder in the league for not only one franchise, but like 3 or 4 different franchises. He's got his name etched in so many different team building exercises, drafts, big drafts, Kobe's, and I mean, you can't say enough about the guy. I mean, one day there should be a nice big movie about him. Yeah. But whatever praise you can throw on him, it's well deserved.
And not winning time.
Not winning time. But whatever praise he gets, it's well deserved, man.
Yeah. I was sad. I shed a tear because even with Bill Walton,
it's 2 legends.
Yeah, I shed it. Yeah, you shed a tear for these guys because
I had the pleasure of meeting Bill 2 years ago.
Nice. My teammate was best friends with Luke Walton, with all the Waltons, all of it, because he was from Arizona, and so my teammate Blake Jensen, he was teammate. He was friends with, and he would hang out at their house, stay over their house, and so he was close to them, and Luke and his brothers and Bill Walton, but. Also, it's Bill Walton. He made you laugh, and so I was sad when he was gone, and he was just a joy, watching him on as a broadcast. And then, like you said, it's Jerry West. It's the logo, one of the best basketball players to ever, touch this earth. So it was sad, and I think for all of us, we've been losing people, and you keep reflecting on life, and it's coming, right? There's going to be more. Like, I don't know how I'm going to be when, obviously, when MJ, moves on, and because, that's why I started watching basketball and really idolize. So you just start thinking about these guys, and everybody's getting older, and you wonder how much longer they're gonna have. And even though it's coming, it's still sad, right? And but yeah, it's Jerry West, and he was a basketball icon, basketball legend. Everything you've heard, I never met him, but everything you heard, great human being, from what I've seen on the TV, great person. So he will be missed, and yeah, man, just whatever, as Curtis said, whatever praise is that comes his way is more than deserving.
I wasn't paying attention, but I didn't see this coming. Like, I didn't hear that he was sick or anything.
Yeah.
No, it's not so much seeing it coming, just knowing that people are getting older, and as they get older, as eventually, because he died in his sleep. He's 86 years old, right?
Yeah.
Like, he died in his sleep. And so my point is, like, as people are getting older, eventually they're gonna.
But I'm saying he had no complications, no illnesses, nothing.
No, he just died in his sleep.
Oh,
Just peacefully, he was sleeping and died. Didn't wake up.
well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And what's crazy? And what's crazy is, I mean, he's still with the Clippers. I think he was still consulting with them. I think that's what he was going to do next season too. Like, it wasn't like he retired and didn't know what else he was going to do. Like, that's what he was going to do, right? And to me, like, that's one of the best careers ever in any sport. Thinking the Hall of Fame career as a basketball player, like Kobe Bryant used to say that he would steal some of his pull-up, like his pull-up game, his mid-range game. He said he took a lot of his stuff from Jerry West in terms of, not just Michael, but he said Jerry West was one of the guys he used to watch tape on, which is crazy, right? Because this guy was like a star in the 60s, right? But to tell you how great basketball can still translate, right? So you have that, and then you have the whole Showtime regime with the Lakers. You know what I mean? He put the Memphis Grizzlies on the map for a while as a GM, like when Gasol and all those guys were there and stuff like that. And then he's the one who actually stopped Kevin Love from being traded from Minnesota to Golden State, because there was a point where Minnesota was going to trade Klay Thompson for Kevin Love. And Jerry West, when he was, I think, consulting with the worst, threw his whole body in front of that and was like, "You make this trade, I quit right now." And they pulled it back. And then a year or two later, guess what happened to Golden State, right? So the vision that this guy had was amazing. And I think one of the biggest things is when I went to Summer League about, I think, 2018, and he was holding courtside. And at one point it was him, Bomber, and Mark Cuban. And it was like everybody that came by the three of them, it was like they were there to kiss West's ring. So every star you saw that was walking through was stopping they talked to the three of them, but it was like the middle was Jerry West, and it was like they were like coming to kiss the Pope's ring, like Corleone's ring, the Godfather's ring. And it was like, wow, like you're watching that in real time, like, yo, this guy's got so much power. So it's like a library basically being burned down to the ground when he passed. You know what I mean? So, but what an amazing career. Like, honestly, like I don't know if that's ever going to be emulated. Seriously, like, think like who's going to emulate that career from being a legendary player to a legendary GM, consultant, builder of teams. Like, I don't know who would even be able to come close to that. It's crazy.
Yep.
But incredible career though, man. Like, that's, it's rest in peace to him for sure. But yeah, man, we'll wrap up this pod. Hopefully we can do this again on Tuesday or Monday night or whatever, but let's see. Let's see.
Yeah.
Curtis is skeptical.
Yeah. We have to.
I think the next ball podcast, there's a better chance I might be doing a pre-draft podcast and seeing where Zach Edey is going to be drafted.
Alrighty. Yeah.
But thank you, brothers, for hopping on, though.
No problem.
All right. Easy.
Yes. Hold on a second. We end this stream.